Yo, the fuck? The fuck is up?
You already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? We're
the
gonna
fuck
do it.
is
We're gonna
up,
get off
man?
all our ad libs right now. Praise the Lord. Exactly. Yes, sir.
I mean, we back, man. We back in the motherfucking spot. This is we just came to y'all. We wanted to bring y'all this conversation that we were already having. I mean, just amongst the homies. We thought, yo, you know what? This would be a good ass pod episode. Let's go ahead and give the people this the consciousness that we was having right now. You know what I'm saying? We watched the video that we see him come across the timeline, and it was very interesting.
sir.
But I mean, we wanted to bring that to y'all. This is cracking the motherfucking 80s. Cracking 80s. I'm here today with the homie Drvgz is here with me. Lourde is here with me. Osiris Lourde. And we was just, like I said, we was chopping it up. We wanted to bring y'all this conversation. This shit got real good. It got spicy. It got juicy pause and shit. But I mean, gotta keep it juicy. Oh, yeah, you know what I mean. So we just wanted to bring y'all this conversation, man. It was a really good conversation we was having, fellas. I mean, we just watched that video. Shit was on the Instagram. It's actually, I seen the video on Major Hype. Shout out to Major Hype. You know what I mean? Caribbean comedian overall, but he focuses heavily on Caribbean comedy and shit. But I seen this very interesting video on his page, man. And it led me to dropping that shit in the group chat, and I wanted to see what the homies thought about that shit.
You literally just said Major Hype comedian. For some reason, this whole time, it didn't click to me that wasn't Major Lazer. I don't know why. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to say, for some reason, I was thinking about Major Lazer that whole time.
I found out Major Lazer is a group, nigga. Yeah. I thought that was one dude, like, for years. I didn't realize they was a group. I mean, it's the front man, I mean, but they actual, like, band type shit. Getting to the money. But I mean, shout out to that for sure. But this Major Hype video he posted, you know what I'm saying? It's the title I got from it is "We Don't Help Each Other." And by we, I'm specifically talking about black people. So we're gonna insert the audio right here. And then I wanted to really mention the caption that he posted too before we actually get into the context of this video we just watched. So Major Hype posted the video, and yeah, I just heard it. He goes in his caption, "I hate hearing people talk about I don't owe you nothing. I'm not helping you because I had to get it on my own. It's ignorant. Every other race helps their own. The fact that we hate to see others on our own level or equals hurts the community more than anything else. If you see talent or potential in someone, why not help? You were blessed enough to get through the door. Why not help someone else get through? It's a sick mentality of kicking a person off a ladder
very powerful
instead of helping them up." Fucking powerful words right there, man. So with the video, we're just watching, fellas. Let's get into it, man. Like, wow, we don't help each other. Why y'all think that is, man? Like, what is it about the black community that we see each other as competition more so than fucking comrades? You know what I mean? More so than a community.
Nah, what you gonna say? Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. My bad, bro. I would say more specifically, like what I identified most with in the video is not more so that we don't like to help each other. It's on the other end of that spectrum is we don't like to ask each other for help because our pride won't allow us to ask for help because we feel like it comes across as shameful or there's a stigma to asking for help. Meanwhile, humanity, take race out of it in general, humanity at the baseline of that shit comes from community and helping one another. So I wanted to open it up to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I identify most with. Because for me, I can honestly say, bro, I could be going through some fucked up shit in life in general. Like, mentally, like financially, whatever it might be. I might have a great idea, but I might be like, yo, damn, this idea needs this amount of investment. I'm not gonna ask nobody for bread because I feel like, yo, damn, niggas might look at me like, yo, why don't you have the bread to do it? You got your idea, and you know what I mean, that's how I interpret that shit. So I identify with that part specifically for sure. I wanted to see what y'all.
Yeah,
what
I never
was
actually. That was actually a really good point.
Kind of what
you
we was
brought up
talking
at
about.
the end. A good example of I really like that one where you were like, oh, you know, I have this idea, and you know, why don't you have the bread? That was really because that happens a lot, especially with business, like especially with friends, business shit. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to say, I feel like overall, just as human beings, not necessarily just the Black community on the whole, like I feel like typically people just, like you said, people don't want to seem weak or things of the nature, but that's just like a really, like my podcast episode that I dropped yesterday, toxic masculinity. A lot of the things that Lord Under the Scope, shout out to y'all for, you know, that plug real quick.
Lord Under the Scope.
A lot of those things that people will tax it, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll be like, I'm gonna do everything by myself, and I feel like we've been base groomed over the decades, or at least our parents and potentially our parents, because of the situation that we went through. You know, slavery and people stealing our ideas. You know, white people stealing our, to be honest, white people stealing our ideas and stuff like that have been stealing our ideas for a long ass time. So I feel like, you know, naturally people have been protective of the Black community has been protective of their ideas, as obviously like their family, things like that. So I feel like during those times where, you know, mental health and things, you talk to somebody, there's just, but basically overall, I feel like we were groomed, conditioned this because of things that happened to us in the earlier years to now where we're just like, we got to get it ourselves because no one's going to help us. But there are plenty of people willing to help us right now, and resources that we're not even seeking out, that are literally even a Google away to help us break this conditioning and break these things. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for like protecting our ideas, doing things for yourself, but some things you just need to talk to somebody else or just get help with. So I feel like it's years of conditioning and grooming from our parents and our parents' parents, and, you know, like being a strong Caribbean person, being this, that, and the third, growing up without a father, we had to do this, that. I'm not trying to have a, you know, a sorrow story, a sad story. I'm not for that, but I'm just saying, I feel like this is the reason why. Yeah.
It's context. It's giving context. Like I really appreciate what you said in terms of like it's kind of like, in another way, what I heard is like it's within our DNA in terms of how we were raised, how we came up, or just in terms of
correct
Black culture. We've created a culture around this exact identity of, yo, get it on your own, stand on your own. I mean, 10 toes down type shit. I'll be having conversations, just to open it up a little bit, with my shorty, just in terms of immigrant parents. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a product of immigrant parents, you know what I'm saying? Both my parents came from South America and the Caribbean to New York, and got it on their own type shit. So I'm like, with that alone, I'm looking at it in terms of just humanity, just people leaving their home country, looking for a better life type shit, end up in New York City, you know what I mean, where a lot of us ended up, a lot of Caribbean people, a lot of South American people end up, and the only way they knew how to survive was based off of their fight or flight fucking senses, you know what I mean, which is in us, and a lot of it is coming from fight. Like, they had to fight to be able to survive out here. So I'm saying within that, defending their everything that they had from the people that was immediately around them, i.e. it might have been like other Black people, other minority, like, you know what I'm saying, just survival was their thing. So that was kind of passed down, especially like you said, even from not just Caribbean people, just back to when we were slaves and shit. All of that comes from the same is the context is the same of trying to fight for your survival. So when you're operating from that standpoint of, yo, I gotta get it and I gotta make sure I defend what I have, I can see how it's easy to just be like, yo, man, I can't ask for help because I don't trust that
Exactly.
motherfucker. Even more emphasized coming from New York, son. You know how that city is. So I'm like, yo, imagine you coming from another country and you trying to survive and you amongst that culture of New York and shit. It's like, man, you ain't you. It's a reason why we don't
Exactly.
help each other because we fucking operating off of thinking that other person is out to get us. All the while, it's like, yo, it's holding us back. Like what the video was getting at, which I just heard. He was saying like, yo, that shit is holding us back, fam. Our pride in the pride and just the context of, you know what I mean, just what we were brought up in. I mean, we all from NY in here. We spoke about it often about just outside of being black, just being a New Yorker, you have defense mechanisms and walls up to protect yourself just from the shit that's going on out in the world. So add on another layer of that of trying to build some shit amongst your community, it can get real tricky.
Y'all definitely relate when I be
Shit,
when I
shit could
when
get
I'm gonna
real
say this,
tricky,
but
man.
bro, a lot of black people, and this is across the planet, bro, are naturally conceited, are naturally egotistical. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people wake up, put their clothes
Narcissistic.
on, and come outside and walk the earth every day with no care for the people that may care for them or love them deeply. You don't
Yeah.
even know how they doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how if this person is alive. You know what I'm saying? Just certain things like, and we literally ignore all of that to worry about self. And that's not even self in the healthiest manners either.
Yeah.
Like it's not your mental, it'll be shit like your financial situation. Like it'll be shit like you worried about a job that's a shitty ass job anyway, but because it's giving you a check and that's all you have right now, and you literally can't see or choose not to see past that, you're complacent with that and you believe that that's the end all be all.
You believe that's your life. You stuck in that moment. Because everything is a moment, but when
Right.
it's emphasized, you put a lot of emphasis on this shit. Fuckers are stuck in. Yeah, I mean, I like how you mentioned just in terms of um the context of just everybody in general. We're all selfish. We, you know what I mean, we wake up every day. And I mean, I don't know if it's selfish or if it's just necessarily like a survival thing. Just cause I don't. Basically, what I'm getting at is living in this world. You gotta make sure you take care of yourself, right? Cause you're the one that's dealing with you daily. So you got to make sure you eat good. You got to make sure your mental is right. So within that, you got to make sure you get into whatever you're trying to get to financially or within your dreams. So within that, you got to kind of put yourself first, which in context can come across as you ignoring everybody else that's around you that might care for you, that might love you. But within that, a lot of people would like to call it narcissism and shit, right? You know what I mean? They like to call you narcissistic because you know what I mean, your personality comes from how you feel about yourself or you put yourself first. And just to go to the definition that I got here of narcissism is personality qualities include thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. So it's a level to it. What we were kind of talking about before we got on the air was narcissism is always used and stigmatized as a negative thing, but I believe if you can be aware of your narcissism and kind of control it is not necessarily a bad thing, even especially if you're a creative. You know what I mean? Like, you need that whatever, if it's like a switch in you to just turn it on and off to be like, all right, at this moment I'm worried about myself because I'm focused on this right here. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you lack in the empathy for others or you think others below you. It's kind of, I feel like narcissism for me, because I say I'm narcissistic, I admit to that shit. It's not on the negative connotation of like, yo, putting other people down because I think they're inferior. It's never on that. It's just like when I'm in my bag, in my zone, if I'm making beats, if I'm editing some shit, we podding. I'm in the flow state of, yo, this is my mode right now. I got to get this shit off and put myself this. So any text I might get at the moment, any phone call, that has to come second because I'm currently trying to get this done. If I was to entertain any of the other stuff, yeah, it may be something really important, but at the moment, I can't allow that to infiltrate this space that I'm in right now. So I gotta be selfish in that aspect. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
I'm
like
forced to be because I'm trying to get some shit off. I'm trying to get some shit done.
People talk about being selfish. It's always in a negative connotation, but being selfish is also a very good thing because if you're not selfish, people overstep their boundaries. People one, you get burnout. I feel like, if you're not being selfish and you're answering people all the time, especially immediately as they text you, because I used to immediately text people back, when they text me and stuff like that. So I don't know what you guys were talking about. My connection dropped. I'm back. I just heard what you were saying. So I'm just talking about being selfish.
No, that's actually a good topic that you mentioned. I mean, a good point that you make in terms of just texting people back immediately. I think so. I mean, we all around the same age and shit. I think we grew up without phones and with phones, so we know the both sides of it. But it was more so with the phones, right, and with the internet. So we're of the age of the AIM, the AOL, the Sidekick era, instant messaging, where literally IM within the word is instant, right? I think when we transition to the iPhone age, we try to keep that same context of, yo, somebody hit me, I gotta hit them back because they want to know the answer to whatever they ask. I recently, probably not as most recent, but maybe within the last 3 years, I was able to understand and take myself out of that space of just because somebody hit me right away. I mean, just because somebody messaged me or asked me a question, I'm not required to answer you right away because that's what you might be accustomed to. That's what the culture of this text era might be, of this internet era, this instant gratification era. Even though that's what the culture is, I'm not obligated to operate within that space. You know what I mean? I'm still a person. It could be a number of reasons why I don't respond to you. But the problem just to get back to what you said, a lot of people feel if you don't respond to them right away, you're ignoring them, which is most likely not the case, which kind of might go back to narcissism. They might be feeling like, yo, I'm important. This person is important to my life or this question I'm asking them.
Yeah.
They're the only one with the answer. Why aren't they responding to me right now? I need the answer right now. And when you don't, they can kind of get a little figure in their feelings and shit sometimes, rightfully so. But once you understand what's going on, you can
definitely
take those feelings away.
I actually talked about that in like 2 or 3 episodes ago on Lourde Under the Scope. I think I think it might have actually been in the narcissism episode, or potentially in the respect episode. One of those. It was in one of those. But yeah. So basically, we, like you said, we grew up, we started instantly messaging people. I think it does have to do with the iPhone, because as soon as you said that, I thought about it, and Android users must be really happy because no one wants to text them. So they probably be at their phone all day like, I'm glad nobody's texting me, like, word.
Niggas be gaming. Niggas be gaming and shit, doing bad shit.
Shout out to the Android users, though. You know what I'm saying?
Niggas get kicked out of group chats for having
we kind of being
Android,
biased, but it's all right though. But yes, I think like you said, that whole instant thing and being selfish. Man, listen, if you're listening, just be selfish, man. Look at the definition of being selfish and look at the positive reasons why you should be selfish and your whole life will change. You know what I'm saying? You feel bad for a second because you're not answering nobody, but I bet you all your creative things you want to do, you'll bloom in them, they'll blossom, all your mental health will get better, man. Listen, man. That's true.
Even if you're not a creative, like I think just in general, just being a human, if you make more time for yourself, you'll be able to be a better person to everyone else. You know what I mean? Like I definitely learned that for sure. Just like I said, I've had therapy a few times. I'm not like an avid goer. Like I don't go all the time. I've had like one experience with it, and I'm not saying that I'm a big advocate of therapy. Like everybody needs that shit if you can afford it, if you are able to do it. But I mean, just in terms of figuring your shit out is very important because you'll be a better person to the world, and that's all we could really ask for from everybody as a human. Like just be a good person to other people, to the world that you live in, because we cohabitate this shit together. We can't be out here for self in terms of yo, fuck you, I'm a hoard everything for myself and everybody else is boxed out. Just be selfish in the terms of taking care of yourself, making sure you right. So when you present yourself to this world,
listen, man, everybody needs it's like you go to the gym and work out your muscles when you feel like your body about to break in half. You need to go potentially to the therapy or talk to the homies when you feel like you don't know what to do in your brain because you need to work it out.
Talk to your shorty. Make sure you get a nice shorty. I mean, if you a lady listening, make sure your man is the guy that can also give you that therapy. You know what I'm saying? They allow you the space to be vulnerable. They allow you the space to just be your fucking self and get your shit off and with no judgment.
Bro,
and sometimes even sometimes even no solution,
judgment.
just listening.
Yeah.
Like that's important.
No judgment zone.
Rare, bro. That's very rare. You're not just finding
no
that
judgment,
in any relationship.
Man. Like
sadly, it's sad to say.
It's very fucking rare, honestly.
Bro, some people don't
I think you
have
could
that
work
in them.
to get to that space, but you're right. You're not finding that shit just right off the bat, especially if y'all don't work toward it. Yeah, you're not lying.
Yeah.
Some people are really selfish in the true
no
definition.
judgment zone, man.
Niggas is selfish.
A lot of people don't know how to be humans, bro. Like
they're not aware.
For real, like I can't. This is literally why I have a podcast, bro. Like this, I've been doing my podcast and like piece by piece. Like, okay, this is how you do this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you killing that shit, by the way, too, my brother. I'm very proud, bro.
Same with y'all, man. Same with y'all. Listen, I want everybody to know that cracking the 80s without them, you know what I'm saying, I probably wouldn't be as consistent and ready to and willing to do it. So shout out to cracking the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Yes, sir. But yeah, that's why I'm doing it in pieces, you know what I'm saying? I try not to do it. I try to do it more conversational than like, you watch another video. It's like 15 ways of mental health, blah, 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 blah. I'm not, it's annoying.
Yeah, it's corny. It's just corny. Like literally, people make content now on YouTube. It just be corny. It be good content, but it's no soul in it. Like, know what I mean? Like, it's Labor Day weekend. It's gonna mean like I'm Caribbean. Like I'm a product of Caribbean culture. Like my pops are from Trinidad. I think soul is a big thing that is missing from a lot of people that we just might say like you aren't a good human because that soul in you is what lets you connect with other people. When you're doing cookie cutter bullshit, is like people can notice that if you actually have a soul. Of course, you'll be giving some good information, but I ain't gonna feel your shit if you ain't got no soul, fam. Like if keeping it a buck, like we gotta feel what you're doing and not so. Well, for me, I'm speaking personally, but I think it's our like black culture in general. Like we have to feel that we feel you, and then we gonna fuck with you. We could consume your content and be like, "Oh, I get some information from your shit," but I don't really feel you, man. Like, I don't connect with that inner, whatever it is, whether it's your inner, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I can't
Just
even
ain't no
articulate
connection,
what I'm
man.
trying to say, but it's just
Exactly.
that feeling of, oh
Yeah,
I feel this
yeah.
nigga.
That's perfect.
Word. I connect
Yeah.
with him. He's relatable. He's relatable. Yeah.
No,
But I think, man, yo,
yeah.
Drvgz, you
No,
got
I
anything
think I
more to
think
say?
we,
I
you know
think
what I'm saying. We shake the tree enough. Enough
we let
coconuts fell out. You know what I'm saying? Enough to make a good drink.
word. Hell yeah. Them shits
I
is,
mean,
we said we wanted to make shit juicy. Pause. Pause then. I mean, but we got the fruit is out the tree and shit. Strange fruit. And we shook the tree enough. We got our shit off. So we want to thank for listening today. We might just be popping in and out doing these quick little tidbit episodes of some nice therapeutic. I mean, cause we like we said, we trying to remove this stigma of black men don't communicate their feelings, and they're not really in tune
Yeah,
with
very much so.
how they
that's
operate
true.
in this world. That shit cap. We want to change that. I mean, this motherfucker's been. I mean, it's been 5-2. It's been Drvgz. It's been Osiris Lourde. This is motherfucking cracking
Praise
A's,
the
and we gonna see y'all. We
Lord.
gonna see y'all
I
later.
did y'all shit.